The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. We're going to get started on that here in a second, but really quick, I haven't been here or made 2 videos for the past 2 days. Discord, you haven't seen me for like 2 days either, Twitter, etc. Just to silence anything, I don't really care or like worried about anything going on. I'm not really like worried about the market at all. Actually, this kind of like benefited me, like what happened and taking a step back for 2 days. Just to let you guys know, my wife is pregnant right now. She's showing very far ahead, like it's probably gonna be due sooner than we thought, our baby. And then also we're finishing our remodel in our house. So there's been a lot of stuff happening, and like the goal is to get moved in by the beginning August 1st, but the baby's looking like it's gonna be due way earlier than what we anticipated. So things are just a little bit tricky. And so again, I've had my son for the summer. Not that I have to explain to anyone, but I want to just remind everyone here that sometimes you have to take a step back, maybe mentally check out from some of the things that you have to do or that you usually do. If you guys have been paying any attention when it comes to Discord or, Twitter or even YouTube content here, it's nonstop, right? It's me posting every day, all day, TikTok, it's from every angle. So sometimes, I have to, take a break, and I have to just, shut down my brain and reset a little bit. And that's kind of what just happened the past 2 days. Like I just, had a little bit of an overload. I had to take a step back, kind of mentally going through some stuff, but battling back. So again, nothing's wrong with my family. Nothing's wrong with my wife. So people don't start going crazy. Like, oh, we're praying for you, brother. Amen. I appreciate the prayers, but at the end of the day too, like sometimes guys, you just have to take a step back. Life hits you, you got to take it on the chin, keep moving forward. That's what it is. Let's get into the stock market. Also too, it might sound a little echoey on my mic. My office is really empty. As you can see, I'm packed most of my stuff up, getting ready for the move and everything. But anyways, yeah. So going into the Nasdaq, what's been going on, right? So I think the last thing I posted in Discord to give you guys a heads up, I didn't post my market rundown the other day. All I was really watching for was right here. I'm not making a rundown. Didn't care. Thought we were just going to break down. I said I wanted to see us hold 20,285. If you broke that, you were going straight down to 1995. Well, that's kind of what happened, right? And we're actually operating below that 1995 level. And so this is kind of where we step back into the market. What are we looking at? What are we expecting? Now, a few things that happened at this point. Okay, number one, you had Trump basically say that he doesn't want them to raise. He said, I want you to leave rates not cut. Do not cut rates until I'm in office. Like, I'm like, bro, Trump, what are you talking about? Like Trump, everyone look, I'm not pro-Democrat or anything like that. I'm not anything political here on the channel. But everyone wants Trump to be in office. But I'm just letting you know that if you didn't trade back in, when Trump was in office, Trump just be saying stuff sometimes, and the market gets irrational. So worth mentioning, worth looking at. But again, I think the market looks totally fine. I love where we're at. Overall, I look at higher time frames. Yeah, you had a dip down. You're still above previous all-time highs of 19K. Kind of insane to really think about. You go back to the 2-hour chart, you're still holding up pretty well. You are back below 1995. That was our big breakout in mount level, but you're also still above 19.7 here, which is another major level I'm watching for. So a few things that I'm watching here on the Nasdaq in particular before we start getting crazy or anything like that. Start breaking below 1997, you probably see selling down at 1994. That'd be my personal opinion. This will also be a very illiquid area. So if you start to break down into this area under 19.7, it's an easy short to that downside with soft targets near right here, 19.5 locally. So about 300, at least 200 points of downside at that point in time. Going into the SPY, what is happening here? Again, I haven't even drawn this. Again, I've been, like I said, checked out the past few days. Dipping, touching our level perfectly, 550, bouncing, looks really good. Everyone's freaking out about a $14, $15 dip on the SPY, when in reality the SPY since April 17th has run up 70 points. Neat. So again, perspective is very important to understand where we're at. IWM mid caps still really, really, really impressive. Truly incredible what's happening here actually. So IWM, this was your previous high you had back from 2020, like in January 2022 when you broke down. You broke out, you're pushing up, you're still holding a lot of your levels. You would have liked to see you hold like 221, but you still look really good. I think you're just cooling off a little bit here. But this is where things get interesting. Like IWM moved up while basically the Nasdaq and ES are dropping down. And then you look at something like the Dow, DIA, you can look at YM if you want. DIA, similar to SPY, still holding up very well. Your first kind of red day that you've had overall here. On the other side of that as well, one stock that we kept saying was, hey, if you want to have something to hedge your portfolio, I said it over and over and over and over and over. Exxon, again, breaking out pushed into 120 locally. Fantastic move there. So also, awesome. So those things definitely worked out, played out great. That's awesome. So things are definitely still out there in the works. Now, the big thing we're talking about, though, is like what's happening in broad markets, like what's happening with Apple, what's happening with NVIDIA. Like, am I buying these names? Like, what am I doing? AMD is probably the true tragedy here. You had such a good breakout opportunity and you just fell and just died. Like, dear God, had to put that dog down, right? But again, you're on the 200 SMA. Like, a lot of these names I think are preparing, and again, the same story we've been saying, opportunity across the board. So that's what we're kind of talking about today. If you have questions, comment down below, but let's get into this. Also, too, I'm going to be going over options on the chain on Moomoo. This is the broker that I use for all my trading. It's a sponsor of the channel as well. If you're interested, the link is down below, so make sure you check them out. I'm going to be going more in detail, but I want to make sure that I give them a shout out before I forget. So again, what we're looking at there. Now, number one, we can look at DXY. Let's look at DXY really quick. And today was the only day, and I probably should have made this video yesterday. It would have been better. But again, something I posted like on Twitter was you're looking for the breakdown, which you got below the 200 SMA. You dipped. You bounce back into the 200, and you're probably going to dip back down. So again, what we drew up, the break, the retest, and push back down is what we want. You're getting that action right now. We go to the 30-year yield, and I'll go into why I'm looking at this here in a second. But again, the 30-year yield, operating the break, the retest so far. So we're going to see continuation back to the downside on yields as well. Because again, what do yields dropping? What does DXY dropping mean? It's a risk on environment, which is why we saw what was happening with the IWM. Even though, yes, the Nasdaq was dipping, we saw smaller, riskier name stocks getting a really nice pump and good move. Now, the first pullback here, still interested, still excited. Ideally, you like to see a mount of that previous like 212, 213 level. That's what you like to see there. So hopefully you get some action like this. You break, you retest, get some continuation. Now, that's broad markets viewpoint there. Again, you look at NQ, you're like, oh my God, Tyler, what do we do? Do I mortgage my house? What is happening here? Something that I've been saying going into earnings, I said, guys, you look really good with what's happening with rate cuts and what's happening from the Fed. I made that very clear. But I have said, and go watch those videos, I said I'm trying to stay pretty liquid unless I have January contracts on anything. And the only January contracts that I've been really holding were my Exxons and my Apples, right? So Apple, for instance, we've been holding since 210. Now, I did sell some and trimmed. I made that very clear. And I want to reload, and I'm gonna say this right now. I want to reload my entire position, most likely if we get back to 220. But something that I've been saying though was those are the only positions I feel very comfortable holding. Everything else, like you want to wait for earnings, specifically TSM earnings, which happened today for NVIDIA, which we'll go into here in a second. But those are big, right? So again, let's go to our first name here, Apple. Apple's coming back down to 220, 221. I think personally, Apple's one of the best opportunities out there. You had a Goldman Sachs analyst improve the rating today from 238 to 264. Again, pretty damn bullish. We look at Apple. What are the contracts that I like? What have I been saying on repeat over and over? The January contracts, the 220s, or what we originally were buying, sub $13, $12 locally. They get down even lower. Highs on these contracts, if we look, again, not manipulating the chart, just look, we're about $30 a contract. So again, major win there. But again, I think this is still a massive opportunity. You can go to like the 230s if you want, like whatever you want to do with your money. I'm not going to tell you, but those do move good. These are, again, the January 17th contracts. I like them a lot. Still the same ones I'd be trading. So again, very good. Again, I said Exxon as well. Why did I like Exxon? Because again, one of the best hedges against any pullbacks over the last year has been energy, and it's proven once again that this is a monster play. So going into Exxon, XOM, my favorite energy name that there is, right? God bless the black oil. Now, again, we're going into Exxon. Favorite ticker, best ticker for oil in my opinion, okay? I like this a lot. Again, the 120s for January, the ones I've been saying, we bought these around $4 a contract. Highs in the contract, $770 today. Let's say you got out at $750. Okay, again, monster play there. So again, those are the two really safer names I like. But now I think, again, you're getting some of that really nice opportunity across the board. And y'all know I love saying the word opportunity in the market. Every time I see opportunity, I get happy. So again, number one, I think NVIDIA here is crazy. I think what we saw down here at 118 was also pretty insane, like for real. I saw Jordan in Discord. I did see his comment. I tried to check out, but I kept seeing him post it. NVIDIA under 118, like you expected to push down to 115, right? That little previous high there, but you didn't drop. Like buyers just kept showing up. So we pull that VRVP out here as well. You can see that's your POC around 120, 119. So pretty impressive that you're holding that level overall. And I do think NVIDIA bulls are likely to step in. Another name here too is AVGO after the split. Even I kind of looked for that downside gap fill to 150. But again, They just announced that OpenAI is working with them, or OpenAI is working with them to get a new chip developed for themselves, so with Broadcom. So again, two interesting names here. Now, specifically, you guys know I love NVIDIA. It gets my stones off, right? Big fan. So again, NVIDIA for myself, I'm going to tell you right now, the 130s for January, the 140s for January, very good. I like these a lot. Now with the AVGO, I'm not as confident and I'm not as familiar with the contracts and how they move, especially after their split. But again, like the 170s or 115 for January, I think that's a deal. Personally, up 20% here on the day, still really interesting, right? Back into 180 again, back into those local highs. The opportunity is definitely there. I think the mount above 173 is when you can really go long, but that's what I'm looking for specifically with something like Broadcom as well. I like NVIDIA more. I'll be very transparent with that. AMD, mentioned this earlier. Yeah, dude, nasty rejection. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was wrong. Like, I expected the amount, didn't get it. Everything just bad news timed all together. AMD shot down like $30. I was wrong. So yeah. But what I will say on the contrary is, man, if you zoom back, the 200 SMA, the 200 daily moving average on AMD has been a buying opportunity over the past basically year and a half. Okay. So do what you want with that information. AMD looks interesting. Could have been a flash crash. Hard to say. Might want to wait until after their earnings to get better, cheaper fills. But still a good looking name nonetheless. Very interesting. Would be watching. Top name here, NVIDIA, safest name as well. So that's why I like them so much. Again, a little bit further as well. Amazon finding some lows, but really interesting too. I've been seeing a lot of charts like on my Twitter pop up. And again, like people are like talking about finding a bottom, this and that. It's really interesting that you're still holding those higher lows. Like I have not touched this, guys, like at all. Like I have not been charting or anything. So you're finding right back into that level, bouncing. Didn't really get back into those lows. Almost did, but 181, 182, and you're kind of finding buyers. Now, it's worth mentioning, and Bezos has a lot of sell orders still at $200. So take that for what it is. But I still think Amazon's going to report good earnings. I wouldn't be surprised to have another great Prime Day. What you're really looking for here is to get back above 189. That's your level now. Until then, be really, really careful. In this little area, chop box. Above this level here, 189, it's a long because that's your 2021 high. Above that, you look really good. But again, Amazon too. Like you're getting back into really affordable contracts. Like this is when I think you're getting the opportunity to like start buying. Now you can wait till after earnings as well. Do whatever you want. But like I mean, these 200s now are pretty damn cheap. Like none like these are pretty cheap. Highs were $22. You're at $20 to $12. Not saying you're gonna get back to 22. If you get back into highs, but still really good. These are going back to lows back of like April 25th. So pretty crazy what we're seeing here. But again, back above 189 is where that buying opportunity lies. So yeah, Google coming back down heavy as well. Again, this was our breakout level down here where you kind of broke above and you mounted and slingshot it up. But you can also see, I could already tell you, and bring up the VRVP. POC is going to be right here as well. So around 175, 174.5, good buying opportunity. Looks good. You get below 174.5, probably going to start breaking back to the downside pretty aggressively. One thing you're seeing here is that a lot of these names are coming back down into massive, massive levels. Like, is it like, do you think it's a coincidence? Or do we think that there's something maybe like market pulling back? And then the other part here too is everyone getting super bearish and the market's collapsing, this and that. Now, just riddle me this. Like, let's just play the game. Like, look at the breakout and the pullback. Okay, wait. Breakout. You had a fake breakdown here and then you pulled back and you went crazy. So, like, I'm just saying, like, like, interesting how the market's moving. Do what you got to do, though. I kind of like it. I look at what's in front of us and I still feel good right now. Okay, especially with the inflation reports that continue to just come out. They're fantastic. On top of that, too, you have oil kind of pulling back. Another good overall thing there. You have yields showing strength or showing weakness back to the down. TLT showing strength. And then DXY showing weakness as well. Broad markets, I continue to like what I see. Like, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, you're getting some fat dips, but when you get these dips are where you make the money 99% of the time, in my opinion. So, again, you got to do what you got to do. I look at the market as a whole. I'm excited. I like what I see. I see buying opportunity. Not a super long video today, guys. Again, we need to see more earnings. But overall, just want to give you guys a heads up. Get back in the saddle, guys. I might miss some videos next week just with being busy with what's happening with the house, contractors, and stuff like that. But I'm going to try to be here every day, guys. So I apologize for the past 2 days. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.